YouTube, es geht weiter mit unserem nächsten Fall, beziehungsweise dem nächsten Zeugen. Aber zuerst haben wir einen Brief auf dem Tisch liegen. Ich musste mich mal ganz kurz überhaupt wieder zurechtfinden. Transkript anzeigen. Jüdisches Schwein. Wir wissen, wo du wohnst und was du tust. Wir beobachten dich. Tag und Nacht sehen wir dich. Das deutsche Volk hat wegen Ungeziefer wie dir schon genug durchgemacht. Du hättest mit dem Rest deiner Art verbrannt werden sollen. Doch statt zu verschwinden und dich in deiner Gosse zu verstecken, wo du hingehörst, hast du uns wieder einmal angegriffen. Also hört uns. Ihr werdet brennen. Wir werden zu Ende bringen, was wir begonnen haben. Angefangen mit verräterischem Abschaum wie dir. Herzlichen Glückwunsch. Junge, Junge. Und sie so vorne, ach, ich hab dir einen netten kleinen Brief dahin gelegt. Der ist auch schon offen. Ich hab gesehen, was da drin steht, aber ich hab ihn dir trotzdem hingelegt.
This is Esther Katz. Hello?
Whatever Kiebitz told you, don't believe it. It's all a lie.
Okay.
Back then, everyone was an ardent Nazi. Now they all claim to have resisted, doubted, hesitated, to have said no. Trouble is, somebody must have said yes. But who tells the truth?
Was? 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 Das ist ja noch gemeiner! Yes. Das ist die kostenlose Demo von den Tagesfiles und ihr scannt euch jetzt hier mal den QR-Code ab, okay? Und dann geht ihr auf Kickstarter und unterstützt sie mal. Wer mit? Ja, also da jetzt die neue Folge für YouTube genau 2 Minuten geht und ich das ja so nicht hochladen kann, spielen wir doch eine Runde. Aber diesmal im Ermittlermodus. Die Ereignisse in unserem Spiel beruhen auf wahren Verbrechen, die während der Nazizeit begangen wurden und in der jungen Bundesrepublik Deutschland verfolgt wurden. Mit Ausnahme von Fritz Bauer sind die Namen aller Beteiligten geändert worden. Eventuelle Ähnlichkeiten mit existierenden Personen gleichen Namens sind rein zufällig. Let's go again.
Frankfurt, West Germany, 1956. 11 years after the end of World War II, many crimes of the Nazi era still go unpunished. The perpetrators of these crimes are walking free. Many judges, prosecutors and police officers have already served under the Nazis. Now they have no interest in prosecuting their former comrades for actions similar to their own. For the victims of these crimes, this is unbearable. To end this, Attorney General Fritz Bauer establishes a special unit of young prosecutors with no ties to the old regime. I am Esther Katz. I am one of these prosecutors. We are investigating Nazi crimes and bringing perpetrators to justice. Not to avenge, not to heal, but to show that there are laws that apply to all. It doesn't make us popular. Most want to forget. Some want us to shut up. But they cannot stop us. Nothing belongs to the past. Everything is still present and can become the future again. Previously on The Darkest Files.
Miss Katz, welcome to the front line. I believe I have the perfect case for you to start with. Hans Naumann, an older gentleman, shot just before the end of the war. According to the victim's wife, her husband was taken by a uniformed man for no reason. I suggest you invite the widow to give a statement.
Mrs. Naumann just arrived. I showed her to the conference room.
I know it's not easy, but please take me through the day your husband was taken.
It was in April 45, only days before the Americans came.
In der letzten Demo haben wir diese Vernehmung
There were
gespielt.
two men. Hans came down and asked them what they wanted. Then everything happened so fast. The small one said they'd let him go if our son would turn himself in. Then they just herded him out, like an animal. This was the last time I saw him alive. Hans was innocent. They killed him, and that's murder. No matter what they call it. Please, Miss Katz, will you find the man?
Paula, I need you to invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Please invite Mr. Kiebitz.
Akt 1, der Rebell. Der erste Verdächtige, 11. Oktober 1956. Ja, das haben wir uns auch alle schon angeguckt. Ich speede jetzt mal ein
Good
bisschen
morning,
durch.
Miss Katz.
Das haben wir alle schon gelesen. Das haben wir alle schon gesehen. Ja. Hier gucken wir. Dankeschön. Ja. Das haben wir auch gelesen. Wenn ihr wissen wollt, was da drauf steht. Ja.
Miss Katz, Mr. Bauer wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Any
Mr.
idea
Bauer
why?
wants to talk to me.
I am sure he just wants to hear the latest update from you. He also said he wants to make sure you are properly prepared.
Properly prepared? What does he mean by that?
I have a hunch, but it's best to ask him that yourself.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be joining him in a minute. Who do I want to call?
Nee, niemanden. Egal.
Never mind.
Never mind. Hallo? Mr. Bauer?
Hello, Miss Katz. Any news regarding the Naumann case?
Unvorhergesehenes.
And quite surprising ones. As it turns out, he wasn't even supposed to be arrested. The men were looking for his son, Jan Naumann. When they couldn't find Jan, they took Hans instead, the father.
I assume that's what Miss Naumann told you. But are you sure she is telling the truth?
According to the files, the man they were looking for had climbed up a flagpole, torn down a flag, and beaten up a block warden when he was caught in the act. Hans Naumann was 77 years old at the time. Of course, there are older men who are in good shape, but
Pulling down a flag and beating someone up seems unlikely. I understand.
yes,
I see, but why did the man take him if they knew he was innocent?
Sie brauchten einen Sündenbock.
considering the times, they might have been afraid of coming back empty-handed. Or they could have hoped their actual suspect would turn himself in, hearing his father was taken.
Highly illegal, even back then. Not uncommon, though. But why did they shoot the old man?
Jan ist nicht gekommen.
His son didn't turn himself in as they demanded. They could have seen that as enough reason to kill their hostage.
Perhaps, but they hardly gave him enough time. Nonetheless, it is a case for us. For you, specifically. We need witnesses.
I'd start with the names mentioned in the files of the first investigation. I've already invited Hermann Kiebitz to join me later this afternoon.
Excellent. Let's get this case to court, Miss Katz. And be mindful of time. We do not have nearly enough of it here.
Tja, jetzt weiß ich auch den Satz
Once
zu
you hear
verstehen
from
bei der
all
Kürze der
witnesses,
Demo.
we need to move to court quickly. Since you've never led a case before, I want you to be prepared. Mr. Peters has agreed to look over your shoulder and help you out. Present your findings, prove your claims. It will help you to familiarize yourself with the ins and outs of court. We cannot afford to fail at court, and preparation is the key to success.
I'll do what I can.
Aber echt, Steven, time is money. Mr. Peters, Sie haben kein Türschild. Ich nehme jetzt
What?
mit Absicht auch die anderen Antwortsachen, ne? Also, das, was ich nicht geantwortet habe, will ich jetzt. Es sei denn, es geht um den Fall an sich. Ich möchte das schon korrekt lösen.
Bad time?
Not like there's any other. But yes.
Mr. Bauer told me we should work together.
Right. The court preparations. Paula has already given me the protocols of yesterday's interrogation. I haven't got around to reading it yet. But there is no point discussing it before you've met the witnesses anyway.
Peters,
Cuts?
thank you for thinking I'm a total beginner.
Oh, you're welcome. Someone has to do it, since Mr. Bauer apparently overestimates your abilities. And while we're at it, don't forget to bring some evidence. I don't want us to improvise the whole thing.
That's obvious, Peters.
Good. As soon as you think you're ready, come by and we'll get it over with. What does she want now? Yes, Paula.
Excuse me, Mr. Peters, but I have a message for Miss Katz.
I'm listening, Paula.
The witness you asked me to contact, Hermann Kiebitz, just arrived.
Danke, Paula.
Thank you, Paula. I'll be right with him.
Ich löse den Fall auf jeden Fall. Bist du dir sicher, Steven, dass du den Fall auf jeden Fall löst? So, wir gehen jetzt ins Verhör zu Hermann Kiebitz.
Good morning. My name is Esther Katz.
A pleasure, miss. Could you tell me how long I have to wait for the prosecutor?
I am the
Mr.
prosecutor!
Kiebitz, I'm the prosecutor here.
Oh, modern times, I guess. How long will this take?
Es wird nicht lange dauern.
Won't be too long.
Good. So, let's get this over with.
This is about the arrest of Hans Naumann in Munich on April 28, 1945. According to a witness, two men picked up Mr. Naumann from his apartment. Were you one of them?
You're pretty, you know that?
Mr. Kiebitz, were you one of those men?
No, I wasn't. We drove to the house. Then our group leader and Mr. Schickert got out of the car to arrest the man.
Gute Animation auch.
Then
Alles
they
runterfällt.
tossed the old man into the car and headed to the district office.
The district office. Where was it located?
We just had moved it into the basement of an old brewery, still stuffed with beer bottles and barrels. District leader Schwarz came out and gave the command.
Yes, das wissen wir schon. Hinrichten!
What command? What did he say?
He ordered us to execute the man. Then he left. I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
This wasn't right.
Why did you relocate the office?
Because of a big air raid. We wanted to be underground. We also would be safer.
Laut! Laut!
We followed group leader Falkman to the cell. There was tension.
This must be the cell.
We all entered the cell.
Could you describe the cell?
Very basic.
The cell,
Mattress,
the cell,
window,
the cell.
chair.
What was Mr. Falkman doing?
Group leader Falkman seemed to hesitate. He shared my concerns about killing the old sod. He told us to wait. Yet Schickert insisted. He referred to that new order about dealing with insurgents. He was such a stickler for the rules. He could be really annoying about these things.
What did he say?
He insisted that any delay would constitute treason.
And treason must be reported, he said. The refusal to obey orders would be of interest for the Gestapo. Faced with this open threat of being denounced, we did not dare to act.
Ja.
Were the compartments prepared to host prisoners?
Kind of. We adjusted them so our prisoner could stay there for interrogations and not get out.
For how long were the prisoners held in these cells?
Mostly around a week. The tension was strong. Group leader Faltman ordered us to wait once more. But Schickert drew his gun and shot him.
What weapons did the people present have? Standard issue equipment?
We could wish. Those were the last days. We had almost nothing left. Rifles, pistols, ammunition. We had to use whatever was somehow left, or what we managed to get out of the woods.
Interesting. I should ask Paula if she can find any information about this. How did you ensure the energy supply?
The district struggled to produce enough energy. There were frequent power failures. For emergency, we had a generator. If worst came to worst, we used oil lamps.
They must have had petrol to run the generator, or to destroy evidence. Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
Just in Bavaria, there were 28 local groups. We were in constant contact with them.
Es hört sich so ein bisschen an, als wäre dieses Geräusch entstanden, als irgendjemand an so einer Teetasse geschlürft hat. Wisst ihr, so heißt der Tee so.
I can still hear the sirens in my head. They seem to last forever. But it may just
Achtung,
have been a
Sirenen.
minute full of despair. If you survived it.
Ist schon ein ekliges Geräusch auch, ne?
With the district office being a brewery, you helped yourself to the stocks?
Of course not. How could you assume something like
Oh,
that?
how could you?
May have had a drink or two, but never on duty.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
Obviously, yes. We had to put the traitors somewhere. We adapted part of the storage rooms as cells.
Were summary executions common?
In those days, yes.
Yes. Spannend auch.
What were your local group's responsibilities in the very last days of the war?
We were responsible for all concerns and for many households within Munich. Above all, we tried to eliminate insurgencies.
I think I'm still missing something. How did Mr. Schwarz's office look like?
Quite fancy given the circumstances. Leather chair, massive oak desk. District Leader
statt
Schwarz
aus
cared about
Statussymbole.
showing off.
Wert auf Statussymbole. Oha, oha. Heute finde ich hier aber also.
Was Mr. Schwarz involved in the execution?
He gave the orders, but the members of the local group were responsible for carrying them out. Surely you can't expect a busy man like the district leader to attend every execution in person.
There was no execution order in the files I got. If it exists, I should check if I can get my hands on it. Did Mr. Schwarz even get to see the victim Hans Naumann?
Not entirely sure. He was in his office when we brought the perpetrator,
The victim.
the victim, into a cell.
If Schwarz didn't see the victim, did he know they had the wrong man? What did he know?
What did he know?
What were Mr. Schwarz's responsibilities as a district leader?
He was responsible for organizing relief measures for the party during air raids, coordinating local groups, providing food and emergency quarters. He had also found the brewery for us and organized the move.
Ja, auch spannend, dass er die Brewery gefunden hat. Brrr.
How was your relationship to Mr. Schwarz?
He treated me fairly and friendly. I learned a lot from him.
Was kann man denn von so jemandem lernen?
How was working under Mr. Feldman?
Great. He was a good leader and a better man.
Das ist sehr leise
It was a
ausgepegelt.
pleasure to work with him. Even though some people might have disagreed, we had our share of malcontents in the group. But he knew how to deal with them effectively.
Interesting. I should ask Paula if she can find any information about this. How did you and Mr. Schickert get along?
He and I didn't have much to do with each other. We were just part of the same local group. He was no feast for the eyes, a cranky guy, strange, always strict with his work but annoying from time to time. He was obsessed with Prussian virtues.
What were your responsibilities in your local group?
Most of the time I accompanied District Leader Schwarz and drove him when he needed a driver. He knew how to convey power and discipline.
Also ich weiß nicht, ob es euch aufgefallen ist, in diesem Durchlauf unter diesem Modus können wir nicht sehen, wie viele zusätzliche Hinweise wir schon gefunden haben und wie viele wir noch brauchen. Ich werde also, wenn wir das on-stream dann zocken, wenn es endlich rauskommt, wenn es endlich rauskommt, werde ich auf jeden Fall den Story-Modus spielen, einfach um auch zu sehen, ob wir alles finden, weil ich alles mitnehmen will. I want to see everything!
So what you are saying is, Schickert shot the old man against Mr. Feldman's order?
Exactly.
That's horrible.
These are brutal events you're getting to hear here. Are you sure you're up for it? Honestly, no one would think this is a job for a woman. What do you have to prove? I will file a formal complaint.
Eine Beschwerde?
What would you like to complain about?
About talking to you instead of a real prosecutor.
I see. Well, if you think that's necessary, go ahead. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kiebitz.
Goodbye, Miss Katz.
Arschloch! Ich meinte mit einem richtigen Pfefferball zu rechnen und nicht mit einer Frau.
If you have a moment, I have something for you.
So, I've done some digging beforehand
Yes?
and found something potentially useful for you. The brewery's blueprint. I put it in your office on the corkboard. I thought it might help you to have more of a physical understanding of the crime scene.
Was machst du denn da, Schmelli? Du hast gerade aber nichts getrunken. Komm her. Das war aber nicht trinken. Ich habe dich nicht schlürfen gehört, Madame. Irgendwas. Irgendwo hast du da schon wieder geguckt. Ich glaube, sie war am Müll. Die hängen dann auch Reste in deinen Schnurrhaaren. Doofe Ziege. Muss man nicht immer in den Müll rennen schon wieder. Ja? Wir machen gleich eine kurze Pipi-Pause, ja, für dich. Gehen wir nochmal raus, ja. Diesmal werden wir auch nicht nass wie vorhin. Versprochen. So. Ich brauche
I need
Dokumente.
some additional files.
Something specific?
Something specific? Ja.
One of the suspects mentioned something interesting about Mr. Feldman. Could you check if there was anything strange happening with his subordinates? Threats, blackmail, anything?
Of course. I'll start looking.
Sehr
Anything
gut.
else?
Den Hinrichtungsbefehl.
According to the suspects, the shooting was ordered by the deceased Mr. Schwarz. But I saw no copy of such an order in the original case's files.
That's weird. I'll look into it right away.
Anything else?
Die Ausrüstung der Ortsgruppe.
I need information on the equipment used by the local group. Weapons, mainly. As bureaucratic as the NSDAP was, they must have kept some sort of record.
Of course. I'll start looking. Anything else?
Das
Thank you,
war's.
Paula, but what can I exactly do with it?
It should help you reconstruct and remember the different testimony.
Ah.
On it, you can mark and note who said what, and more importantly, who did what over the course of the crime. I thought it might help you to have more of a physical understanding of the crime scene.
Dann war's das erste.
I think that will be it for now.
I hope it can help you with the preparations for Mr. Peters.
Yes,
I'm
I
sure
hope
it
to.
will. Thank you, Paula.
Schnell zu Bord. Weiter, weiter. Schwarz, Faltmann und Schwarz gibt Befehl. Wir müssen nicht noch mal
My theory
nachbauen.
is made. I have my files. I think I'm ready for the meeting.
For the meeting with Peters. Let's go. The meeting with Peters.
Honorable Miss Katz.
Yes,
Would you be ready then?
I think so. How are we going to do that?
I think
I will
so.
act
Ich
as
will mehr
defense
Energy.
at court, and
More
you
energy.
will do your part.
More energy. More footwork. More footwork. Haben Sie die Akten
But
gelesen?
have you studied the case well enough to actually help me here?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Some people have to take their work seriously, you know. Anyway, you present your prosecution, support your conclusions with evidence, and win the case. And I'm trying to stop you from doing just that. Should be
Genau.
a piece of cake. For one of us,
A piece
at
of
least.
cake. For us.
His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the highest-ranking person involved, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Norman's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Objection. According to the witness statement, it was Mr. Schickert who gave the order. Can you support your claims with meaningful evidence?
Ja, kann
Certainly,
ich.
Mr. Chairman. If you would take a look at this.
Herr Faltmann und Herr Schwarz trafen auf den Flur hinaus, wo Herr Schickert stand. Der Kreisleiter gab den Befehl.
This document clearly states that it was Mr. Schwarz who gave the order.
Not bad cuts, but not great either. If that's all the prosecution can come up with, the case is as good as lost. Knowing the right answers is often not enough to win your case. You also need to form the right conclusions. Conclusions the court is willing to follow, because they are plausible, and because you can back them up with evidence. A valid conclusion is always based on several clues. The one clue we are very certain is true is that Schwarz gave the command. So your conclusion should be based on that. Open your case file and give it a go.
Dann let's go. Schlussfolgerung. Das erste Dokument ist hier. Der Kreisleiter hat die Hinrichtung angeordnet. Das wähle einen Satz. Okay, jetzt muss man das viel genauer machen. Das ist ja irre. Herr Schwarz. Das ist ja geil. Da muss man sich so richtig genau durch die Dokumente arbeiten, auch exakt die Stelle dann angeben in dem anderen Schwierigkeitsmodus, dem schwierigeren. Das ist schon wirklich auch sehr nice gemacht. Oh, also, muss man auch schon mal sagen. Finde ich richtig gut, finde ich richtig gut. Finde ich richtig gut.
This makes sense.
Es gibt keine Unstimmigkeiten darüber, wer die Hinrichtung angeordnet hat. Kreisleiter Herbert Schwarz gab den Befehl, Herrn Naumann zu erschießen. Jackpot.
I think I got it.
Shoot.
We have several consistent statements that Schwarz gave the order to shoot. There are no discrepancies in the testimonies. It says so in the files, and Mr. Schwarz stated it himself in 1947. Therefore, I conclude the order to shoot Hans Naumann came from District Leader Herbert Schwarz.
Congratulations. Well done, Katz. If you argued just as coherently in court, this might go better than I expected. However, it was not particularly difficult, and it will probably not be that easy again. Still, well done.
Thank you, Peters.
Enough practice. Your case is waiting. Keep up the good work.
What now?
You should ask Paula to invite the next witness. There is still a lot we don't know.
Next stop, Paula. Peters.
We don't know.
Katz?
We don't know. Übrigens, ihr könnt die Demo auch selber spielen. Die ist gerade kostenlos auf Steam verfügbar und heißt The Darkest Files. Das Spiel ist noch nicht raus. Wenn ihr aber über alles informiert bleiben wollt, dann packt ihr euch das einfach bei Steam auf die Wishlist. Dann werdet ihr über Updates immer informiert.
Miss Katz, how can I help you?
Laden Sie
I
einen
need you
Zeugen
to
ein.
invite a potential witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Vielleicht, wenn wir jetzt nicht Schickert nehmen, sondern Faltmann, vielleicht geht die Demo dann noch etwas weiter.
Please invite Mr. Faltmann next.
We'll reach out immediately. Oh, and there was a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
No, I don't think so. Brief. Interagieren. Jüdisches Schwein. Wir wissen, wo du wohnst und was du tust. Wir beobachten dich. Tag und Nacht sehen wir dich. Das deutsche Volk hat wegen Ungeziefer wie dir schon genug durchgemacht. Du hättest mit dem Rest deiner Art verbrannt werden sollen. Doch statt zu verschwinden und dich in der Gosse zu verstecken, wo du hingehörst, hast du uns wieder einmal angegriffen. Also hört uns. Ihr werdet brennen. Wir werden zu Ende bringen, was wir begonnen haben. Angefangen mit verräterischem Abschaum wie dir. Brennen? Schwierig. Wurden die nicht vergast? Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung, ist nicht witzig.
This is Esther Katz. Hello?
Whatever Kiebitz told you, don't believe it. It's all a lie.
Ist das eine andere Stimme dieses Mal? Can it be? War das eine andere Stimme?
Back then, everyone was an ardent Nazi. Now they all claim to have resisted, doubted, hesitated, to have said no. Trouble is, somebody must have said yes. But who tells the truth?
We will find out. Warum seid ihr so gemein? Warum seid ihr nur so gemein zu uns? Leute, wirklich. Wishlistet euch The Darkest Files. Wenn ihr einen Euro übrig habt, unterstützt gerne die Kickstarter-Demo von den lieben Menschen, die so viel Arbeit in dieses Spiel reinstecken. Das wird auch auf die Switch kommen. Es ist optimiert fürs Steam Deck. Und ja, guckt auf jeden Fall. War die Demo kürzer als die letzte? Ja, hier durften wir tatsächlich nur einen Zeugen vernehmen. Und ich beende auch die Aufnahme für YouTube und wirklich, wie gesagt, unterstützt die Kickstarter, wenn ihr könnt. Es ist unten verlinkt. Wishlistet es euch auf Steam. Das unterstützt die auch, denn, also, ne? Reichweite und so, es ist immer alles Gold wert. Folgt Paint Bucket Games gerne auf Instagram, um nichts mehr zu verpassen. Da posten die auch immer wieder Updates über die Kickstarter-Kampagne und so weiter und so fort. Lasst ihnen einfach ein bisschen Liebe da und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüssi.